at WinWire Technologies, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. If you experience audio issues during the webinar, you can dial in through telephone details provided to you in your registration mail. During the webinar, please feel free to post questions in your chat box, and we'll try to answer as many as we can at the end of the session. And we'll also be sharing the slides in next 48 hours to the email ID which you have registered to us. So with that, today's topic for this webinar is automating HR onboarding and offboarding process, leveraging SharePoint as a platform. And just before I introduce you to today's presenter, let me take a minute to introduce who we are. So WinWire Technologies is an specialized IT solutions company focused on making information actionable for the enterprises. We help business and technology leaders achieve an on-the-move business environment by leveraging platforms such as mobility, cloud, collaboration, and analytics. As you can see on the slide, in terms of mobility, we work on different platforms, right on the Apple, Android, Windows, and we leverage HTML5 and some of the platforms like Accelerator and Xamarin. In terms of cloud, we do work for Microsoft technologies like Windows Azure, Office 365, and Microsoft SQL Azure. And last but not the least, in terms of collaboration and analytics, we are very focused on SharePoint technologies, Microsoft SQL Server, and .NET. So this is a brief introduction about WinWire Technologies. If you would like to know more about WinWire Technologies, I would request you to go to our website, winwire.com. And let me take a minute to introduce you to today's presenter, Mr. Madan Marimuthu, who is the Senior Technical Architect at WinWire Technologies, and Mr. Deepak, who is again the Technical Architect at WinWire Technologies. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Madan to take this session forward. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the session. Over to you, Madan.
Thanks a lot, for setting the stage, Noor. Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, folks around the globe. I know, we have a lot of registrations across, various parts of the globe, and glad to see a lot of HR folks, HR generalists, and then the people who are responsible for onboarding and offboarding. So I'm glad to run through this session with you guys. With that being said, I'll quickly cover the agenda. What is that we are going to cover in today's session, and then we'll be running through the other slides as well. And the first point being the pain points of the current manual processes. Majority of the organizations are still running the manual processes for be it HR onboarding or specifically an IT onboarding, and what are the issues with that. Then I will quickly jump on to the WinWire solution for it, the WinWire human resource system, which is a Win HRS, we call it as, and what is the technology it is running on, and how WinHRS can help overcome some of the pain points or most of the pain points in the current manual processes in the organization, and the advantages. And then I'll also cover a quick demo of the solution as such. So that's pretty much it about today's session. Okay, as I already told, majority of the folks are HR generalists, and then the HR people, and also the people who are responsible for onboarding and offboarding. You may be wondering, are these the only pain points you feel HR people are facing? I'm sure it is not the exhaustive list. It is the key pain points what we heard over and over from multiple customers we work with. The pain points. Right. The process is completely fragmented, the onboarding and offboarding processes, and the senior exec team or the HR team do not have control on the entire process, and they don't know where the process is currently. I remember some of the organizations where where the resources get 45 emails for onboarding a single employee, and that is, I'm talking about a group of 30 people in an email alias getting 45 different emails to onboard a single employee over the period of 2 to 3 weeks. So literally, if somebody has to get the real-time status of where we are with the onboarding, people have to browse through all of those emails and then find out what is the current status. This happens quite often when there is a senior exec joins and the senior management wants to ensure that the onboarding process is smooth. They face a lot of problems in finding out where are we with the overall process. That is annoying, but the truth is that is what is happening in majority of the organizations. And as it is paper-based, it is time-consuming. When you have people working across different locations on the entire offboarding processes, it makes it more and more time-consuming as well as error-prone, because people make a phone call and then say where we are. Have you created an Active Directory user account? Have you created an Exchange account? All of those things happen over phone or broken emails, or sometimes over a paper-based form for getting approval. So those are all the pain points. And just to be precise on what actually happens because of these pain points. So basically, this manual data collection across all these data points, it is obviously time-consuming, and it reduces the overall productivity of the entire organization to onboard and offboard a particular employee. Then one of the important points which majority of the customers felt is when an employee is offboarded, they want to be sure that the company proprietary information is not lost. So if there are so many last day for an employee, is it a last working day? Is it a last financial day? Because if somebody is fired for some reason, then the organization may need to pay them for 2 more months, whereas the last working day may be tomorrow. In such cases, they want to be 100% sure that the company proprietary information is not accessed by the ex-employee, though he is officially offboarded. We are not quite sure whether the IT systems are completely taken out from the user account. So that is one of the important things. And then it also affects the audit compliance issues, right? It creates a lot of issues with the compliance. Okay, when an auditor, be it internal or an external auditor, audits this entire processes and then ask, okay, do you have a record for so-and-so operation? People have to find all of that information through so many emails or by browsing the library with all the paper folders. They will have to find out, and it affects the timeline a lot. It takes in some of the organizations, in some of the bigger organizations spanning across multiple locations, timeline for onboarding and offboarding goes on even beyond 3 to 4 weeks, whereas it can be highly optimized. I don't want to cover every single attribute of it, and you guys are the best, and then you understand the pain points a lot. This is just a sneak preview of some of them. With that being said, I'll quickly move on to what WinHRS is. Right? It is a SharePoint 2013 based solution. We call it as a solution accelerator, which is kind of baked, baked up to a 75% extent. Though it is not 100%, it is like 70% or 85% baked solution, which you can take it and then use it quickly for your requirements. And obviously, it automates the entire HR onboarding and offboarding processes. And it also helps integrating your existing legacy systems as well. And one of the key advantage you get out of Win HRS is this is providing a cross-departmental as well as a cross-location collaboration. When we talk about onboarding or offboarding, it requires almost every single department's involvement or majority of the department's involvement to do that. Starting from your HR generalist, and then it goes to the finance person, then it goes to the HR director or the associate director, then it goes to the administrative people to allocate that space, it goes to the operation people, and it goes to the IT team, telecom department, whatnot. You have so many departments spanning across this particular process. Then the topmost features, we would like to call it out, and though these are all not the only features, these are all the topmost features, is it is streamlining your entire onboarding and offboarding process. And it integrates with your Active Directory, so the authorization and authentication is taken care. As it is a SharePoint-based solution, it easily integrates with Active Directory. And then it provides a rich email-based communication as it is integrated with the Exchange server as well seamlessly. It integrates with all of your legacy systems. I'll cover that in the next slides. What do I mean by LOB systems integration? Another consideration we thought about is how do we make this solution adoptable by all the users? There are, we will have to increase the user adoption by giving them easy to use tools. That is what we had in consideration when we designed this. And last but not the least, the real-time oversight, which you don't get it in your current manual processes, real-time oversight, and then the escalation mechanism for the managerial level people. So this slide, quickly depicts the technology stack, the entire technology architecture of Win HRS. What are all the various components within SharePoint it uses, and what are all the components outside of SharePoint it uses. So it uses the basic SharePoint lists and libraries to define the schema, which is what I mentioned, which we need to customize based on your needs. The exact number of attributes, the exact list of attributes you would like to use in your system for tracking purposes. Then it uses easy to use info path forms, which can be customized by your SharePoint admin, or a power user from a HR team can modify small changes without depending on a developer for doing every single change during your execution. Then it leverages the SharePoint 2013 Workflow Manager component, which is more advanced and robust in terms of capabilities and high availability. It leverages that to implement the workflow processes. The workflow processes are implemented in such a way that it is completely plug and play. Okay, for one of the customer, I would have integrated with a third party called Mir3 for sending notifications, but some other customer may come back and then say, no, I don't have Mir3. I may want to go for some other vendor. Yeah, absolutely. We are totally fine with such kind of changes, as it provides easy to plug and play architecture. And you get email notifications, not to spam email boxes for everybody. We try to create a group for certain operations. For example, the finance person needs to create a bank account and other details. You don't need to bother all the other folks in the other departments for that. So we try to send emails to a specific focus group with a person who wants to manage the entire process. So maybe somebody will be in CC, email CC, just for their information, and then group of people will be on the to list of the email to basically work on the task. It is just who needs to be informed versus who needs to be acting on a specific task. And we provide the trending reports to see how we have done in the overall processes, and we provide the real-time dashboards as well. And BCS is one of the components, which is Business Connectivity Services in SharePoint, which leverages, which provides option for us to integrate with any third-party legacy solutions you have. And as it is SharePoint, it works very well with the Active Directory, and the user profiles are used to find out who you are. Are you belonging to a finance team, or are you belonging to an IT team? Everything will get to know by leveraging user profile, and based on that, we target the content for you in the website. I know it's a short duration. It's a 30 minutes call, 30 minutes a session. So I would let you guys post your questions in the chat session, so we can discuss those questions at the end of the session. Okay. So we discussed about the pain points. We discussed about what is WinHRS, and this slide kind of depicts how WinHRS can help overcome your pain points and then improve your efficiency. So because everything is on a centralized location, you get to see the real-time status, and then it improves the efficiency of the overall process. It reduces the cost because the timeline is reduced. You're reducing the cost for doing the same business processes, and you have the log of everything you're doing. Even if you have done something by mistake, you have a log of everything, which reduces the compliance risk. So if an auditor audits the overall process, you will be able to show everything, what has happened in onboarding and offboarding an employee. And as the process is faster, and then you get the real-time status, at any point in time, you can speed up a particular process. For example, you want to focus on a particular person's offboarding due to some issues with that employee continuing with you, then you can expedite that particular process so that you can prevent any unauthorized usage of your company assets. It offers the interdepartmental communication, and then it enables collaboration as well across departments. This, I think we pretty much covered majority of it. I'll just keep the slide for a few seconds so you can go through it, and if you have any questions, you can post it. And like I mentioned, I would like to talk about the first point in this slide, which is the ready-to-use portal solution. What do I mean by ready-to-use? Is this is the process is defined in such a way that it covers a majority of the organization in the typical way how they handle the onboarding and offboarding. But in some situations, your process may be totally different from how the other organizations work. So in such cases, we can take this solution and then customize a little bit to make it work for you. You don't want to worry about a finance team job in this particular thing, because you want to handle finance totally in an isolated way. Yeah, we are absolutely fine. We can go ahead and remove that particular component from the workflow processes. So that kind of tweaks can be done using this tool. And here are the list of reports generated. You can generate onboarding and offboarding based on a department, based on an employee type, and who joined us recently, and who is going to join us in sometime soon. All of that report can be generated. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit on the entire topic, I would like to cover some of the application screenshots. For the interest of time, we have the screenshots mentioned shown in the session. If anybody is interested, we can definitely contact our team. we will be glad to set up a live session walking over the entire application. So here is the home page of the solution, which where you can have some documents for the HR team. You can have some documents for a particular process. Then you get to see what is happening on onboarding, what is happening on offboarding, right? Who it is pending with currently for a particular onboarding. So as I have logged in as an administrator, I get to see all of it. What you will see as a particular individual member is, if let's say if in the offboarding, if you are a HR manager, you'll get to see only the task allocated to the HR manager. And if you are a person who is overseeing the entire processes, you will get to see everything, how I am seeing currently. And if you look at it, one important thing is in the onboarding task, there are set of tasks assigned to Bob Miller, who is an individual, and there are set of tasks assigned to finance team. So the tool provides flexibility to assign a specific task to an individual versus assigning a task to a group of people, which is the case in majority of the systems. So anybody can pick up that task and work on it. Once they close, it takes off from the other person's list as well. And here is one of the sample form, how we capture the input from the users. It's all nice and clean look and feel. And we also provide options for the users to attach as many number of supporting documents they want, so that you don't have to run around to find out, okay, where do I find this particular employee's document, the forms filled by the user. All those scanned copies can be organized in a centralized location. And this is some other form for an offboarding. How do you initiate an offboarding? What do you do with the employee's telephone? What do you do with the voicemail? You want to keep them for some time. You want to redirect it to someone else. What do you do with the email? You want to block the email, or you want to receive the inbound email so that the customers doesn't get affected immediately. And so all of that, what do you do with the network share, the drive access, everything. This is one of the task form, we call it as in SharePoint. The task form is basically once a team or an individual is assigned with some task, once they complete, they can come here, fill in the information, fill in some of the information, view the information for which employee they are working on, fill in the information, then close the particular task. Or they have an option to reassign it to someone else if by mistake they got that task. And as a person who is overseeing everything, you can view the entire status. Okay, what happens with the HR team? What happens with the IT team? Where are we with the operations task? Is it pending or is it approved? Is it completed? If it is past due, you can always go ahead and escalate it to a particular person's manager. Let's say, for example, the IT task is assigned to person A. If you escalate it, it goes to his manager automatically. Here is another sample of an approval form, and here is one of the report generated. I know we are pretty close to the scheduled time. I just want to check with Noor. Have you got any questions from the team?
Hey Madan, thanks a lot. It's a wonderful session. Yes, we have many questions coming from the audience. So just before I go ahead with the questions, let me again reiterate the fact, as Madan mentioned, if any of you folks are looking for a live demo of the tool, please feel free to drop us email at marketing@winwire.com. And we would be very happy to schedule a live demo that would be convenient to you folks. Thanks. And with that, I would like to just pass on the questions to you, Madan. Here is the first question coming from the audience. the first question is, are there any server-side future components, or is this deployable on Office 365? Is the first question that has come from the audience.
Okay. Yeah, certainly. We it is possible to deploy on an Office 365, but for the workflow component, we would need the workflow manager consumed either from an on-premises or from an Azure hosted environment. So the workflow services can be consumed by a SharePoint online portal which has the schema.
Okay. Thanks. So here's another question. So it's like, do we have a list of external systems with which we can automate onboarding and offboarding?
Okay, sure. Let me answer that in two parts. One is it depends on organization to organization. The list of third parties we need to integrate with. We are totally flexible, as I mentioned. Some of the integrations we have already done is each organization have a separate finance system, the accounting system they manage. We have integrated with Adherent for some of the customers for the finance system. We have integrated with ERP solutions, and we have integrated with notification providers like Mir3, and we have also done integrations with IT ticketing management systems like ServiceNow, Remedy, all of that, which is totally, we are totally flexible for integrating via a SOAP-based web service or a RESTful service or a CSV-based integration, or even offline synchronization using a SQL server. So we are open for any such integration.
Okay. Thanks, Madan. So we are a few minutes away, but I have a lot of questions. Let's take it forward. The next question is, does your BCS integration with SAP require a DUET? So DUET.
In the current integration we have done for one of the customers, we have not used DUET, wherein we have used more of an offline approach, wherein SAP spits out a CSV file. We just take that CSV file and update it in our system, and then it's same way. It's back and forth.
Okay.
That's the way we have done. But we can leverage DUET as well if a real-time integration is required.
Good, good. So here's another question, which I think is straightforward. The question is, do we have an integration with the SharePoint records management functionality?
For this solution, we have not directly done a records management integration, but certainly, we have done records management day in, day out for all the customers, so we can do a records management for sure.
Good. So other question is the solution available on SaaS or is it available as a product?
Okay. So we don't want to term it as a product, rather it is, we want to call it as a solution accelerator, because every organization's requirements are going to be slightly different. It's not going to be exactly same, right? No, it is not like MS Word or MS PowerPoint, where you have a product, you start using it. Each onboarding process will have its own customization requirement. That's why we call it as a solution accelerator. We take it, we customize a little bit based on what we hear and what the customer needs are, and then we deploy it either in on-premises or in an SharePoint Online plus Azure-based, Azure combined.
Okay. Great, Madan. Thanks for questions. I think there's so many questions coming up, but in interest of time, I think I request the audience, in case if you have any further questions, you can please drop in your query at marketing@winwire.com. And also, in addition to that, in case if you guys wanted to have a live demo, please feel free to drop email at marketing@winwire.com, and we would revert back to you at the earliest. Thanks, Madan. Thanks, Deepak, for the wonderful session, and have a good day.
Thanks everyone for joining and then having an interesting set of questions. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye.